Well, everyone, welcome to World at War Comics. My next special guest has quite the portfolio, model, singer with a new single out, I think, in March. Obviously, artist, cover artist. What am I missing of all the different things that you do, Sukesha?
Oh, that is so kind. Thank you so much. Well, I am a singer. I'm also a streamer, a partner Twitch streamer.
That's right.
So, and that took a long time to get. Like for a partner, you need to have like a really crazy like amount of viewers per time. And that's something I need to take I took a little break from Twitch, but it was a big part of my life for a while. So
Yeah,
it's fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is taking up most of your time these days when you seem to be juggling quite a bit right now? I assume the music, just because of the new release of the single.
So this is so funny because it was my plan originally with my producer to go crazy with music this year, and I even posted about it. And you might think, right? And I'm actually glad we're having this interview because I wanted to say this to a lot of my fans, and everyone's been asking me when do you have new music, blah blah blah. And it has been really busy. My producer just had a little bit of an emergency this year and actually had to fly back. He's from Belgium,
Okay.
so I fly to Belgium and record my music. So he had an emergency, had to go back to Africa for like 3, 4, 5 months, like a half a year. So unfortunately, we had to put the music again on hold, which is a little bit upsetting. But when he comes back, it's gonna be a game. Get ready, everybody. But I am very grateful that my newest single is like running on like almost 300K plays. So thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and what, just a few months? That's incredible. I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I to be honest, I didn't know you were a singer, so I listened to some of your music. I'm like,
Oh,
holy crap, that is quite the talent that you are in all these different areas. So let's
thank you.
let's go by focus. Like, where are you at right now today from a
Mhm.
focus standpoint? Is it art? Is it modeling? Is it music? Is it, obviously
Yeah.
getting back on Twitch and getting that going again? Like, where is your major focus today?
So this is so funny, but I'm gonna clear up things like some one thing about the modeling that everyone
Yeah.
thinks that I'm a model. I'm not a model at
Oh, I
all.
read that you're a model, and so that
Oh,
Google
did my
usually
label?
doesn't lie, and it said you were a model, so that's why I brought it up.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so funny. And I've never done any professional modeling in my
Oh,
life.
okay.
But I like to take, so I'm very artistic with my visions, and I think I could be a really good one. But like with so much going on, like also I could just never do runway. Like if I'm gonna do something, I always tell myself I want to do it like 110, 150%, and that's like runway, tickets to Victoria's Secret. Like I always dream bigger than dreams themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that people think that because I just think that I take very nice pictures. I have I know what looks good. I know what aesthetic looks nice. So it's a nice compliment, but I'm just way too short. I'm a midget.
How
I'm
tall
just
are you?
so small.
Are you like
Yeah.
5'1", 5'2"?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I
are you?
am
Yeah.
5'1". Yeah, very small.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to be a basketball player, and I'm not tall enough for that either. So, or
I
good.
feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. All right, so then where is your art at right now? Obviously, you were at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
Was it pretty successful for you?
Oh my God, that show is just always psychotic for me. Always one of my most successful shows. This year was no different. I really pushed myself. It was so fun. I'm still working on the pieces that I have to do from that show, for people. Yeah, and it's also a very industry show because some of my friends were like, "Oh, Sukesha, the costs are so high. Like for San Diego, is it still worth it?" It's absolutely worth it, especially if you're like for the industry, like getting to know, like you definitely connect with very big people there, you know what I mean? So I would say as an artist or like somebody trying to break in the industry, yes, San Diego's like very, very good for that. But if you're like just a vendor and you just kind of do like the buy from TMU, reflip,
Yeah.
everyone knows they have those vendors there at cons, or they just flip things. I would just say like do another show. Like it wouldn't really,
Yeah, yeah. I
it's
mean, there's so many, like, you have all the big companies that are like DC,
yeah.
Marvel, and then you have the toy companies that have exclusives. To be kind of a secondary seller, it's a little
Yeah.
tough when everyone's there and they're standing in line for 2 hours to get an action figure. Which I'm one of those nerds that does that because I'm a
Oh my God,
McFarlane.
that's all. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm a huge Todd McFarlane collector, so most of his DC stuff and Spawn stuff, I have about
that's
500
awesome.
figures. So yeah, it's I
Oh,
don't know how awesome my kids and my wife think I am, but I'm glad that you do, Sakesha, and some of the other folks that watch my videos.
yes,
They
I'm
think I'm
so
just an idiot. Like,
nerdy.
what are you doing? How old are you?
It doesn't matter though. My dad said that to me the other day. I was watching X-Men 97
Yeah.
and it's so good. I was watching 97 and my dad he came into the room and he was like, "You're 30 and you're watching cartoons," but he knows what I do. So he's like, "I've never seen this era of people that enjoy cartoons." I'm like, "You could be any age, Dad. Stop it."
That is for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
happier people too. I think people are happier when they really just do what they love. Like if you
Yeah.
accept who you are, people are happier, I think, you know?
100%. Couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah.
And I think also the pandemic caused a lot of us as we are getting older to revert
Yeah.
back to things that we really enjoyed because we had more time on our hands. So, and there
Oh,
wasn't a lot of
absolutely.
new content really being released for about a year because people couldn't come together. So all of a sudden, I found myself going back to comics. Not that I wasn't collecting at that time, but I found myself really returning to some of the things that I grew up with. I'm like, wow, I really still love that. And then I started getting into manga because of my 18-year-old, because she will not read a comic book, but she
Oh,
watches, anything on Crunchyroll. She's all on it.
yes.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm just thinking like My Hero, JJK, all of those
Yes, all that stuff.
green
Yeah.
ones. Oh,
Chainsaw
so
Man.
good.
Yeah, all of it. And now like Berserker, I am obsessed. I have my Guts figures right
Ooh.
here. I just think that
Ooh.
is such a dope. And then Demon Slayer, I know people are like, I don't know, but I love it. I think it's pretty
I
cool.
love Demon Slayer. It's so good.
So I found
They're
myself getting
also
into a
good.
whole other genre of stuff that I would never have done before.
That's amazing. Like through your
Yeah.
daughter, you were pulled in. And honestly, I had a couple friends. I've been more recently into the Marvel world because I have a lot of friends that have been kind of pulling me in that direction, which is pretty cool. So I find myself gravitating towards like X-Men now. And so I'm really excited. So you asked about the art question, where my art stands. It's now taking a direction where I'm tying my anime style. And I've always done that, especially with Teen Titans. I think that's why I got hired by DC because directive or the editor at the time, because Ben Abernathy is no longer the direct editor of DC, but he had said, "We like you because you put your own take," and it was a take that everyone told me, like in the industry, not everybody, but a lot of my friends, right,
Yeah.
your friend, they're like, "Oh, you could never do DC because one, you do I do NSFW art, and then
Yeah.
two, you also do it in anime, and they hate anime. They would hate you." And I'm like, "Oh, well," I always just laughed it off because I don't take things seriously. But I was like, "What if they actually took me because of my anime style?" And they did. So I was like, at least
Yeah.
DC did. Marvel didn't just yet. They gave me a call back, but I want to go back. So, um,
Yeah. So is that one of the things that you're able to kind of walk away from your table and do like portfolio reviews while you're at San Diego Con? Did you get chances to do some of that as well?
I was so depressed. I was prepping. I prepped for months for this portfolio review for Marvel, only to find out that they didn't have it that year.
Oh, no, I'm so
They
sorry.
did not. It's okay. I was so depressed. I prepped so hard. Like, I need to show
Yeah.
you my Jubilee piece. Actually, it's somewhere around here. But I have like the most insanely gorgeous Jubilee I just released. And I was so ready to present that at San Diego because I know that they usually do. But to my surprise, I was like, "Guys," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Nope, no portfolio review this year." So it's all right. A lot of my friends are like, things all in good time. Everyone's time is different. So I'm grateful for my DC cover and hopefully more to come. So I'm grateful for that. But I am just like, shit, man. I prepped so hard too. Like I have such nice pieces to present. So
That
um,
sucks. Have you tried some of the independents like Dark Horse or Dynamite or Massive? 'Cause
actually, yes, underway, and I can't talk about it yet.
Okay, good,
So
good. But that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you
yes,
reached out to them because they
yeah,
have
yeah,
some amazing titles. And to be honest, I think the indie scene has taken a lot of the share of the market
yeah,
from Marvel and DC over the last 10 years
yeah.
because such
Oh yeah,
amazing stories are coming out. Obviously, manga has gotten
yeah,
so huge. Just walk into a Barnes and Noble and look at the different sizes between graphic novels and comics and manga.
yeah,
You'll see how popular it is. But
yeah,
and Independence is on fire right now. Image Comics,
yeah.
some of what they're putting out, and all the new stuff. I mean,
Oh
math.
yeah. I'm so impressed by the way that anime and manga, and going back to like my DC interview, I always like quote Ben Abernathy's words because he told me something that was so important that rings in my ear just to this day. And he was like, "You know why we picked you? Do you really know why we picked you, Sukesha?" Because he said anime sells like crazy. Anime sells.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
that's
I
true.
was like, "Oh my gosh, no, that's so true. It really does." So I can't wait to draw the characters like in my style. I know it's gonna be amazing, but it does. It truly does. You're right.
Yeah,
So,
that's so cool. That's
uh-huh.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So I was on your website, and
Hmm.
not only do you do drawings with pencils, you also do some spray paint art that I saw, which was incredible.
Oh,
And then obviously on canvas, you do a lot of
yeah.
canvas work too. So you're kind of
Hmm.
a multi-facet artist as well, because most people in comics, right?
Yeah,
They do kind of the line work, but that's their skill set, right? But I feel like
correct.
you're in a lot of different areas in art. Do you have a favorite that you
Oh my
prefer?
gosh, that's so crazy to ask. Oh my, that's so hard. I feel like any kind of creative media you just give to me, I don't know. I just love creating, man. Whether it's, you know what I mean? Like, because that's so hard. I love the feel of the spray paint. I love to just like ink work. Like as long as I can use my hand to create something. It's a good question though. Spray paints are very difficult though, I must say. They're a more challenging type. And I befriended when I moved to Miami, circa back when I graduated college many moons ago, when I was a kid. I befriended like a lot of very, very big street artists, like famous from all over the world, and they taught me all these techniques and things that I apply to my art today, like why it looks so airbrushed and why it just looks so beautiful. But they're just techniques and that's why, when you do digital art, you use
Mhm.
like layers. That's why I paint on one layer because people ask me that, "What, you're psychotic? Like, why would you do that? You're crazy." I do it because I don't want to lose that the skill set that I had in the real world. Because you know what you get? A fucking wall. You get a
Yeah.
wall when you paint, when you spray paint. You don't get
Yeah,
no
yeah.
layers. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
It's
So,
it's a lot more difficult for sure, for sure, for sure. Growing up in Southern California, especially in the 80s and 90s, I mean, tagging and spray art was like very top. Right, started in New York, made its way
that's
to
awesome.
California. Obviously, Miami's has a huge, and to this day, I'm still very much into it, and I follow a lot of it because it's beautiful. I don't know, you've
Yeah.
seen the downtown LA, all the apartments that they never finished. It's been blowing up all over the internet because
Oh,
so
oh,
many
that's
different
awesome.
graffiti artists have gotten a hold of it. And you're talking 40, 50-story buildings where all the way around each one has, a different name or a click or something like that. And even people
Mhm.
are getting it tattooed on them. So you should check it out if you really like spray can art. It's amazing that they've been able to get
Dude.
it. It's dope. Now they got it all like police everywhere because they're trying to stop it, but it's already done.
Wow.
I mean, what's the point at this? Yeah,
Oh my
it's dope. You
God.
should check it out.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Yeah,
rep. I'll
yeah.
definitely grab that from you after.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So what are you working on like this week? Is there something that you could share that's not secret that you're working on for a publisher? Like what is it that you're working on? You said commissions. Is that going to take up like most of the week to finish up from the show?
Um, yeah, man, I get a lot of commissions per show. Like there are a lot of that I usually do for people. I would say sometimes that ranges from like 20. Now, granted, the most I ever got at a show, this was insane. Okay. I did Otakon like very, very like I want to say like years ago. I did that Baltimore show, Otakon. Love it. But my prices were so low. Granted, my prices were really insanely cheap. And I ended up getting like 50 commissions. I was
Oh,
like, I
so that
was
take
rolling. I
forever.
was what?
That would take forever, it seems like, to get all those done. Because they're all
Dude,
personalized, right?
what?
It's all personalized, right? So that's 50
Yeah.
personalized pictures that you have to draw. So how long does the average commission take you?
Honestly, so I'm gonna put myself on a pedestal here. I am a speed god. Like
Nice.
if you ask me for a piece, like a full character color right now, probably no more than like 1 to 2 hours for something. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find like a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice. Hold on 1 second. Hold that thought.
I got you. I got you. Yeah.
Okay, because I have something really nice here, one that's not inappropriate, I hope.
You can do what you need to do. It's up to you.
Yeah, but oh, here's some nice. Oh, this is beautiful. So here's one that's like it's not a full character, but
Uh-huh.
still really nice. It's
Oh, that
gorgeous.
is dope.
I know, and it goes two ways. So you have
That
like
is so
Adachi from Yeah, so this one, no more than 2 hours, honestly, maybe
Really?
less, because it doesn't, yeah, something of
Is
that
there
quality.
a certain character that you get asked
Mhm.
to draw the most, or does it just depend on like what movie's going on at a certain time? Like, did you have to get a lot of Deadpool stuff because of the movie or Wolverine?
You know, it's really funny. Since DC, like since my cover dropped, and I've been telling this to like everybody, my life changed forever. I've been getting more DC characters, more comic characters, more Marvel characters than I've ever gotten before, which
Nice.
is really cool. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is cool because I get to practice and get better. But I would definitely say since the DC dropped, 1,000% increased in all comic characters, regardless, man and women. However, I am a little bit more stronger. Not, I don't want to say stronger, but I just do females more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love it when people ask me for like a Wolverine or like a Nightcrawler. Like I get so excited. I'm like, yes, anything.
Yeah, I would
So
say from your pictures and the likes on each of your pictures, definitely your females are extremely popular.
like they're my persona. They really are my soul too. It's really funny. People are like, "Oh, you are your art," and I'm like, "I kind of am, though. It is,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's my soul." But I want to kind of push away. I'm really good at like dragons, mechas. I'm working on too. So I want people to see that I'm not just like. I love the girls with big boobs and big butts. I really do. I love it, but I want to show them like, hey, I
Yeah,
also do other.
for
So
sure. I mean, yeah, especially if you're doing portfolio reviews with Marvel and DC, um,
correct.
they're
Yeah.
probably going to want more of that anyways, I would think. But then like a
Mhm.
Dynamite or something like that with Red Sonja, I could see you drawing a kick-ass
I
Red Sonja.
yeah.
That would be dope.
Stop. And you know
Yeah.
what? Like, oh, that would be amazing too. I just have so many projects that are like on the, and now I can talk about this. Actually,
Yeah,
I have
I don't
one
want you to
to.
get in trouble, so don't say anything.
True, true,
I've seen
true,
it
for
happen,
sure.
and I don't want to be the channel that ruins somebody's
Yeah. Okay, then I'm not
opportunities.
gonna.
We can talk after, but don't say
Yeah.
nothing. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I am really excited though for like everything that's like coming out and everything that I have dropping soon. My White Widow just came out, which is really exciting. White Widow with Absolute,
nice.
um, with Jamie Tyndall, Benny Powell, of course. So that's also great, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, no, I'm really I told Marvel I wanted to come back. Ricky and CB Sabowski, if you guys are watching this podcast, I want a second chance with you guys because I know. So CB Sabowski, I did have at the same time.
Uh-huh.
MegaCon was doing two portfolio reviews, one DC, one Marvel. DC hired me on the spot. Marvel called me back, but CB Sabowski said that he wanted to see more traditional work from me, more line work. So, and I didn't even have a Marvel character to even show him.
Okay.
So the fact that I was even called back in general was very shocking because it was just anime stuff. So that's nice.
That
But
is nice.
I want to go back for redemption and I really want to show them, hey, I've really been actively reading because I think the best way to draw a character is to actually know their backstory, know who they are. Like I always make sure that I study a lot. I study the characters, you know.
Yeah.
Um because then I think you can put the soul into the characters better. So I watched the whole I really studied. I swear I watched 92, I watched 97, I for the X-Men at least. So I'm working
Yeah.
on it.
That's
Yeah.
good. I think from a fan perspective, that's
Yeah.
pretty much appreciated because
Yeah.
we want to stay true to those characters that we love so much. So I
Yeah.
read some of the crazy stuff that is asked of you to draw. And one in particular we don't have to mention, but how do you handle like that kind of an ask? And I'll let people go look it up. It's very easy to see. It's one of the first things that popped up. But that
Yeah.
has to be, as a father, I would be
Yeah.
devastated if someone asked my daughter to draw something like that. But even just as a female, like you seem like you're
Yeah.
so cool and laid back and like whatever,
Mhm.
it's all good. But at the
Yeah.
same time, that is the creepiest kind of weirdest thing I think for a random person that you've never met before to ask you to do. That blew me away when I read that. I'm like, who has the balls to walk up and do that? That's crazy.
Well, I will say the worst one, and this one I did not take. Like a lot of them
Okay.
I'm okay with, like, and I'm comfortable with, like,
Yeah.
because some of them, they're not too on the crazy side, right?
Yeah.
But there's this one, and I will say it, and I think I'm not sure if you had stumbled upon this video. I absolutely maybe should have called the police when somebody asked me to draw this, and somebody asked me. I'll say it in the most chill terms possible for the internet,
All
so
good.
you don't get your channel nerfed. But it was like a grooming thing with like also murder but like it was like feminism where like the women were doing things to like little boys and it like wasn't fun, and it was asked by like a young kid and it was serious, which was scary, and it involved like blood and limbs, and it was not okay.
No, I actually feel bad to understand what that
Yeah.
kid went through to have that kind of an idea to even ask for something like that.
I know. And
That's what I would
I'm
worry
like,
about. My heart drops to hear a little kid ask for something like that. Like, what have you gone through in your life?
it was serious too. Like I can always tell when it's satire when someone's like completely joking because I make the funny videos, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some satire and people like to mess with me and I'm like, it's okay. But this one was a serious inquiry, which begged me to believe or just begged the question, like what exactly, like you're
Mhm.
saying, what did you go through? And you wonder sometimes, and I didn't really know how to react because I was very young at the time. And I just kind of I sat back and I made a great excuse though. I was like, I looked at my book and I was like, sorry, sweetheart, I'm full on commissions.
Yeah.
So, but I probably should have done something else now that I think about it. I'm like,
Yeah, I
um,
mean,
yeah,
still,
it
that's
happened,
weird. That's weird. Yeah. That's
isn't it? Like, oh gosh, the stories. A lot of them are laughable and really, really funny, honestly. They're
yeah.
hilarious. But a lot of them, some of them, you can just sit there and be like, maybe you should like get a little bit of help for that one, or I don't know. But it's not my job to judge somebody and judge what someone's like,
100%.
especially right. Like, unless it's like little kid like naughty things, like that's not good. Like that's
Yeah.
illegal. But right. Like
Yeah.
I'm still doing like we do legal things here. Not
Yeah.
the legal things, right? So no, I'm very professional about the way. And you asked me how do I take that? I'm super professional about the way I handle it. It's actually like, okay, we like this. Like as much as I would take a normal commission, like they're very, I'm very like good about it. Like I have a little bit of a dark story. Like the hentai was something that I did to make money when I was just very young. It was like Jay-Z, picture Jay-Z like selling drugs. He didn't do them, but he sold them,
Yeah.
cause just to hustle. It
Mhm.
was just kind of like my way to hustle and make money because my family, we went through a rough time when I was younger. So people were asking those kind of things and I was like, oh, okay, makes me money and I don't have to ask my parents for it if I'm making it. So
Yeah.
um we're cool now, which is really cool and everything. I'm very grateful for my journey, but it was a way for me to hustle. And I'm still hustling. I'm always hustling. I love doing my job though. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
think most artists live a life of hustling. I think that's just the nature of it, right? To be that kind of creative. And I also wonder if it doesn't drive
Oh,
creation, that constant hustle. What do you think?
I suppose, yeah, I guess you could say. I think that you should take breaks for yourself. Now as I get older though, I find that, and I feel like every job though can be like that if you really care about it. Aren't we all hustling though? Really
We
think about
are
it.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. I do believe there are jobs like I've worked for other people and I have my set
Hmm.
thing to do. And
Hmm.
sometimes you could even turn your brain off depending on what that is. So younger in life, you have more jobs where, you're stocking shelves. I don't have to think about that. I'm in a grocery store putting tomato
Right.
sauce on a rack. Your brain doesn't really need to function. You just got to not cut yourself.
True.
But it's just
True.
labor,
True. True.
right? But there's other
Yes.
things where it takes a lot more brain power, a lot more energy,
Mhm.
and sometimes I wonder
Mhm.
if going through something doesn't drive more success down the road if you're able to overcome it.
Yes, absolutely. I like I said, I was in the music industry. I always talk about this, usually on like a lot of interviews that I do. I was almost in a very dark path because the music industry is interesting. There's very bad people in it and there's very good people in it. And I was with somebody, I don't want to say necessarily, I won't say the label because
Yeah.
I don't want to trash the label. It
Yep.
was a major label though.
Yeah.
And this person like um, well, he assaulted me, and then he also took like $20,000 from me. It
Wow.
was rough. Yeah, the same thing. Also brainwashed my mind to believe that it was a very occult kind of thing, very scary actually, a very scary thing I went through, and it made me tougher in the end to get through that and really focus on what I needed. And I could have went the other way. I really could have. I was in the darkest place. That was 2017. I was in a very bad place, where all my friends and family were like, you're like demonic. Like you're like devil worshiper, like demonic, that bad. And I
Wow.
was just like, I was shaking. I was like, I don't know what to fucking do with myself. Like they will brainwash you and cult wash you so bad. And it was so scary, honestly. And so back to your question. Sorry, I don't want to sidetrack,
No,
but
no,
back to your,
please. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
yeah, those experiences 100%, you can tell my art is very good because I will always I hate when people are so humble. My art's fucking good. And the reason it is, sorry, I love
Yeah.
to say that because it is, and
I mean, I
it's
called
because
you because it's good, so that's why.
yeah, true. But I think I put so much soul into it. I put my heart, I put my like my tears. I everything that I go through, I put into the art. And people can see it. Like they'll look at my one Raven piece of her crying and they'll be like, "Oh my God. I like feel that pain that's coming through." I want people to like feel my pieces, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
So,
When you go
yeah.
through something like that, that you shared in the music industry,
Yeah.
where do you find the courage to return back to that same industry without the fear of falling into the same type of situation? That would be scary for me, right? To go through that, and then you still kind of want
Yeah.
to return to it, but am I going to find the same people? Like how do you return to that? And what was that feeling like returning to it?
Yeah, that person really messed me up because he brought me up to a point where he was like, you're great, like you can be great like all of us." I was really partying with like the highest echelon of humans on this planet, literally. Every night was with like Rick Ross, chain smokers, like
Wow.
Chris Brown, these kind of people I would be around every night, which is insane. And he was like, and then the thing that happened was he started to like me and I didn't like him back. It's one of those situations, so I'm gonna make your life a living hell because you don't like me back. That's what happened. So
Yeah.
and then what happened after that, he just started like he would throw me in the booth and be like, "You fucking suck, you fucking asshole, you're a fucking fuck." Like you fucking like, he would just say every unimaginably horrible thing to me. "I'm gonna fucking come and kill you. I'm gonna fucking," and just like horribly crazy things to me. And I started to believe them, but then it just sort of turned into like a rage. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this in the music industry, and I'm not gonna do it through you.
Yeah.
And now I found Brunel, my producer from Belgium. He flew on his own dime from Belgium to come to work with me in America because he believed in me. But I prayed a lot, and I believe in God like more than ever. And I'm not pushing any kind of religion on
Yeah,
anybody. I
yeah.
don't care.
I love it.
Right.
Yep.
But I found God, and it was the only thing I could turn to. What, you gonna go to your fucking therapist and say, "I almost sold my soul to the occult in the music industry"? You're gonna
Yeah,
say that to
exactly.
somebody, and is someone gonna believe you? No.
Yeah, no, of
So I
course.
just, right, I had to like seek a lot of spiritual help because it was very difficult to cope with that. Like, did I make the right decision? Did I just give up a lifelong thing? Did blah 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 blah? Did this? It was so scary for me to deal with that. And I feel like you can do it in the music industry and it doesn't always have to be toxic if you want to do it. So Brunel, my producer now from Belgium, we worked with Warner and now we work with Sony, but um he showed me that, hard work, yeah, you can sell your soul, you can do that too. But hard work also, I think it does. I mean, how I've been doing it with art, I think it pays off. So
What's
I'm
your
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
honor? Yeah, you're
Yep.
doing it. You are doing it. And you just dropped a single. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. What came first as a passion? Was it music or was it drawing? Like
That's a
as a
great
young girl?
I don't know, because I started doing both at the same time. Like right after I popped out of my mama, I love to sing and I love to draw. It's so funny. It's a great question though. I love them both. I
Oh,
think I found it more seriously as a career after, I hate to say that shitty guy from Miami actually did push me though to
mhm.
see myself, because I just thought of myself as like a little artist that I could be something more.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
that's
I
what
was,
you need, like at certain times, right?
yeah,
That's what you need to drive. That's so cool. And your
I
family must have
know.
been really, because I mean, when you go through something like that, obviously your family. I
Hmm.
have 4 kids, 3 daughters, and
Yeah,
to see any of my kids go through something like that would be devastating. So to be able to
yeah.
see where you're at today compared to then, I mean, they've got to be so happy for you.
Yeah, actually my dad is like it was really hard for me because I think a lot of parents they go through this because I was gonna originally be a doctor. I don't know if I had said that yet, but I was gonna be a
No,
doctor. Yeah, that was my original life path. Like my father, just like my dad, like we're best friends and I have his hands. I would be an amazing surgeon. I know that because they're doctor hands. Like I could kill it. And I wanted to do plastic surgery, like burn repairs, which I would be amazing, I think. But there's a lot of, and I'm not saying this for every, like, not for every institution, not for every medical facet of the industry, but my family specifically, I have shade on the medical industry because of what they did to my father. And it's a conversation for another day. And it's the reason that pushed me to make money when I was little. But I have serious shade against the medical industry and how they can just flip you like that. They can write a one case report. If the judge doesn't agree with you, your whole life is gone. They take your license away and that's it.
Wow.
So, right. And at the time I had gotten into med school, but my art was taking off. Like I was doing very well with it. And I looked at my letter and I was like, Dad, hang on, I'm not going to go to med school. I'm gonna do art. And then at first he paused, but then he saw me like getting these awards, like traveling all over. Like, now he truly asked me, he's like, "Are you happy with your decisions and everything?" I'm like, "Dad, I've never been happier in my life. I really haven't. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful." And then he's like, "I have nothing more to say. I'm very proud of you." So it's nice to, but you have to almost prove it to them because especially Asian, I'm not even playing the race thing, but Asian, Indian, if you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're a failure to them. Seriously.
Yeah.
So
No, I have a very good friend from Hong Kong,
yeah.
and he came to the U.S. to become a pharmacist, and he still is
Oh
today.
wow.
But the
Oh.
pressure that his family,
Mm.
like the depression that
Yeah.
he went under, the mental breakdowns of not being enough is real. Now,
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that's in every Asian family, but he's from Hong
Right.
Kong, and I saw him go through it, and it was. I mean, I don't think he's ever gotten over it, to be honest. And as he
Wow.
got older, he got married. He married a Caucasian woman, which that's like a
Oh.
cultural change, right? Because
Okay.
from a Caucasian standpoint, the
Yeah.
from a family and how we interact with our family is so much
Yeah.
different from like my wife's Mexican and
Oh.
they do everything together. It's like, and then
Yes.
I'm white. Like I've seen
Yeah.
cousins 10 years ago and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
her, like she sees her fourth cousin all the time. I'm just like, it's so weird
Right.
how close they are with these
Yeah.
people that are so distant in the line of
Yeah.
in your family, but just it's just culturally different. And what he
Yeah.
went through was just awful. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough.
If I ever had kids, I mean, I don't have any. It's very difficult with my kind of job at the
Yeah.
moment. It's very difficult just to find a partner, even as like a person of like just the means as much as I travel. Like it's insane. Like, but God forbid, if I ever had kids, I would never treat them. I love my father, I really do, but
Yeah.
the pressure is
Yeah.
enough to like, and I have a friend right now who's like borderline, he's not okay, because of this crazy generational pressure.
Yeah.
And I would definitely change that for future generations, if that was the case. So
Yeah. I mean, they're
yeah,
coming from such a good place, and they
they
just
are. They
but
are. It's
they just don't
but
realize that they can really cause some damage too.
I know, like I feel like supporting your kids and just telling them to do the best though. If you want to be an architect, be the best architect. Or like that's
Exactly.
what my dad does say now. So I'm right. But it is difficult. It's hard. I mean, my mom's white, so she understands like as well. She coming into the Indian clan, we call it. They're just like the Mexican,
Yeah.
they're very, yeah, and it's
Very
intimidating, I
tight.
feel like.
Very
It
tight.
is.
I lost
Yeah.
the audio.
Oh, um, are you good?
No, I can't hear you. Oh, let me see if my headphones maybe.
Okay, let me see. Um,
There, I can hear you now.
good. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't
Awesome.
know what happened, but I guess my headphones needed back
No,
on.
it's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely encourage, I think this is just to anybody or any person who is watching this, like, it took me a while to be able to tell my dad that. Like, I feel like you have to like establish yourself a little bit, keep it on the low that you're doing it. And when you finally show that you're like doing really well with it, then you can tell your parents, especially if they're like Asian, like, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
nurtured that art throughout when I was a med student. I just did it and I posted. I did it. I did cons. And I nurtured it though, so you can't like completely give it up. It is hard though. It's hard,
Yeah.
difficult. So
What are some of the artists that you look at today that you could say has either influenced your style of art, or is there someone that you look at that's already
yeah.
established that you're like, that is awesome, and if I could do a little bit of what that person's doing, that could just help enhance what I'm doing?
So there are three artists that I never gatekeep who my influences are. There's a lot of artists that are out there and then they gatekeep their influences because I never gatekeep it. I always tell people there's three people on this planet Earth that are accumulation of my style. One is Vaporatem. She's an old artist from DeviantArt, very good with expressions and faces. So I studied her faces and I learned to make my pieces very expressive. Um, Victoria is an artist. I believe he's from somewhere like Malaysia, or he's somewhere out there like Thailand or something like that. Victoria's colors are out of this world. He is absolutely who I look up to in every sense. Like you can look up his pieces and they're just colorful. They're beyond imagination. He's a concept artist. And then Lisa Frank, of course, from the 90s, iconic. It's the colors. So you'll see the softness from Victoria or the expressions from Vaporatem, and you'll see the colors from
That's so
Lisa
cool.
Frank. Yeah,
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
gatekeep it. I'm like, it's those three, and you'll see that my art is accumulation of them. So
That
yeah.
is so cool. That is so cool.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And I love that question too, because although
Yeah.
a lot of people do gatekeep because they don't want to be
Yeah.
compared, there
Mhm.
are a lot of artists that have no problem sharing how their style is. And I always like to learn that because when you say it and then when someone goes to look at the art, you can see little things of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think what you've been able to do is kind of create something your own by taking from
Yeah.
everybody. And the reality is, I think we all do that when it
That's
comes to
art.
art.
That's
That's
literally
art.
art. Yeah. Now, not to directly copy. Now, don't do that, of course. But we take
100%.
influences. That's how we become different artists, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
What
because no
is
one has.
oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
No,
I was just
no.
saying no one has a style like me. Like I have my
Yeah.
own unique, painty, soft, airbrushy style. But go ahead. Yeah.
So interesting, your
No, you're
story
so.
and everything that you've done. I think it's so awesome. And I love to
Thank
meet
you.
younger new artists that, in
Mm-hmm.
like 5 years, we might be seeing 50 of your covers
Oh, that
on
would
the
be
stands, and
amazing.
that would be incredible, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to doing your art for comics, have you have you done sequential art yet, like the interiors, or do you like to focus mainly just on the covers? Because there's artists that only want to do covers, there's artists who
Mm-hmm.
hate interiors, and then it's the opposite. I get a lot too, where they don't want to do covers, only interiors.
That's a really good question. I love cover work. It's something that really calls to me. I just don't know if I'd muster up the time for interiors. I just, if I was not a full-time singer too.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
If
makes
I wasn't a
sense.
singer, I could probably do that. I mean, I do want to make my own series someday, so look forward to that. I do want
Nice.
to do that. But yeah, for sure. I just right now I really want to like my goal is to be like sort of a Peach Momoko kind of type. Like a Peach
Yeah.
Momoko. So sorry, mom's like I'm like, Mom.
It's
I'm
all
like,
good.
Mom, too.
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, she's killing it right now. She got her own X-Men series, and obviously her
Yeah.
covers are extremely collectible. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you get anywhere close to that, you'll be killing it because she's
Yeah. And
killing
I'm
it.
just right. I'm just grateful so far. Like I only have like a couple covers drop and like people are still asking like remarks, all this stuff. So I am really excited for the new ones and I hope everyone likes them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think there's going to be an issue there. I don't think so at
Cool.
all. That is so
Mm-hmm.
cool, Sukesha. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you hanging out with me.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen an escape from bees. We've seen
Yes.
that was
I'm
nuts. That
no,
is
they've been
crazy.
doing it all day. Well, the
Oh,
thing we have this like we live in a nice development, but right now we've had like a serious bee problem. And they accumulated their hive like near a vent in my room. So this is actually the fourth bee of the day.
oh wow.
So you got to witness. He's a big guy too. He's a big one. I was like, oh my god. Oh, I gotta grab him after this after this call. I gotta go get him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I really appreciate it. I'll make sure I put down below the Spotify, where to find your music, obviously
Okay.
your website, and where people could see
Hmm.
the work that you've done. you do such a great job of kind of separating it, where you have your spray paint art, your canvas art, and then your comic and manga art. But you definitely have a major skill set. And as a fan, I can't wait to see more, and I can't wait to hear some of the things that are coming up for you. That maybe not Marvel or DC, but still within the comic book realm. I think that's going to be very exciting.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It was such a pleasure. I'm so glad you caught me on one of my less busy days too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'd love to have you come back later on when you have that next cover or whatever else you're working on that you want to get
Sure.
out into the world. We'd love to have you back on, Sukesha.
Awesome. Well, we will do a rain check then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too. All right.
Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.